Yeah.
Here we go. We're in we just finished week 3, flying high with the birds. Philadelphia Eagles talk. With me are the usual suspects. The pod chaplain, Jimbo. How you doing, buddy?
Jalen Hurts is playing out of his mind, guys.
Yeah, and we want to hear what the next guy has to say about that. Will, seal the deal, silly. What's up? How's your favorite quarterback doing?
He's doing great. I got his I was wearing his shirt all weekend. It's in the wash now. It's my new favorite quarterback.
Wentz?
Is it in the wash or the trash?
No, it's in the wash. My Jalen Hurts shirt.
Oh, there you go. Bandwagon guy here. Okay.
I'm hanging off the bed.
Okay, good. I like that. And the Armenian Hammer, Vahe.
Yep, it's a beautiful day in the
Isn't it?
neighborhood. Yep, it's a beautiful day.
Unfortunately, we did not do the podcast last week because yours truly was at the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And I want to tell you guys something. By the end of your life, if you ever get a chance, I recommend highly that you all go at least once to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. It is amazing. I've been down there about a dozen times. Bar none, it's the best vacation I ever took in my life.
Well, we're still waiting for our invite, right?
What's that? Oh, well, no, we're thinking that. Yeah, Jim, we're thinking maybe in a year or two, we're thinking about maybe getting all the couples down, the family, and then all the kids get a house next to us. That would be amazing.
How long is the drive?
It's about, I would say, it's almost 7 hours, but it's very enjoyable because from Philly, you're going down Route 13 along the coastline, and it's a really nice scenic ride. And then you end up going over the Bay Bridge Tunnel at Virginia Beach, which is very scenic. It's 18 miles long. And then you go up to finally, when you get to where the Outer Banks is, it's Route 12. And there's one road in, one road out of the island. It takes roughly almost an hour, a little more than an hour to get from the beginning of the peninsula to the other end of the peninsula. But it's breathtaking. And I would highly advise it if you ever get a chance, stay at one of the houses beachfront. The houses, like you can actually get houses that have 11 to 14 bedrooms, just as many bathrooms, a pool in the yard, and then your own walkway trek right out to the beach from your house. And that's all we did. We went from the pool to the beach, to the pool to the beach, with a little liquid entertainment in between. But it was just so much fun. And I was not thinking about the Flying High with the Birds podcast, I will admit. So
And the water temperature is warm?
it was beautiful down there. It was, well, think about this. We went on the 17th of September every single day. It was mid to high 80s and sun. It was pretty hot. The thing you have to worry about down there is the hurricane season, which is in September. And that's part of the reason also why the rates are a lot lower than prime season down there. But it was just an amazing week. And it just went by so fast. And we already booked for next year. We got another house.
I heard
before we
a rumor
actually, yeah. So we were really pumped. But anyway, let's get down to brass tacks here. Last week, the Eagles beat the Washington Commanders 24-8. Eagles were amazing. 9 sacks. Hurts threw for 3 touchdowns. Devontae Smith had, I think, 156 yards on, I might be wrong in the catches, like 6 or 7 catches, I believe, and almost all of them were in the first half. A.J. Brown still had a strong game with the touchdown. The defensive line was really good, and I know we talked about their pressure that they were not getting in our last podcast, but boy, did they surprise us this time. So I'll leave it up to the panel, guys. Let's break it down.
I think from what we saw, everything this team, like in general, I mean, you got to really give credit to Howie because they're built to win. Like this offense has so many weapons, and Jalen is doing, more than enough to really, make this team, something to watch again. I mean, it's exciting to see. I mean, I'm so excited and so happy with, the team so far. And I can't say anything bad about Jalen because he's to me, he's actually finally taken that step where he's making reads, he's reading the defense, he's going through his progressions. I mean, I'm so excited and so happy, with the team so far. I don't have anything bad to say about him.
When was the last time did the Eagles ever have two receivers like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith?
As long as I've lived, this is the best receiver
Right,
core
me too.
I've ever seen. I mean, I can't speak about, Carmichael and, those legends, but from what I like my lifetime, this is the best receiving core that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that the other day. Even when T.O. was around, I don't know who was on the other side of
It
T.O.
was like, was it Pinkston?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Pinkston.
Cox
You
Pinkston.
remember? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
He wasn't that bad, but he wasn't as good as Devonta Smith or AJ Brown.
They
No,
had, I
these
think
are-
Chad Lewis was their tight end back then. I don't know who their third receiver was, but they were pretty good.
Freddie Mitchell,
Who?
right?
Greg Lewis. How about Greg
Freddie
Lewis?
That's
Mitchell.
right, Greg Lewis. And Greg
Greg
Lewis,
Lewis,
I
right?
believe, was the
He was
slot receiver.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are some.
Mitchell.
Jimmy, you're breaking up.
Yeah, Jim, you're breaking up just a little bit here. I don't know if you can hear us. So
Can you hear me now?
perfect. You're perfect right now. But no, you're right. This to me, this is the best receiving corps that they've had in a long time. AJ Brown, though, he's the guy that's going to make in my opinion, to make Devontae Smith get as many yards as he's going to get because they're going to bracket cover Brown much more coming down the pike here. Brown is just such a strong receiver. It's amazing. They talk about how Brown is the king of the contested catch. He's a 50-50 ball hawk. But Devontae Smith had how many catches that were contested? Like 3? Now, but listen, let me just bring this up to you. And I want you guys to comment on this. I do have one negative, one criticism of the play calling at the end of the first half. They ran Hurts tried to run the ball, I think, with about 9 seconds left in the half. They had no time.
No, it was 16 seconds.
Oh, okay. 16 seconds. They had no timeouts.
That's correct.
He gets kind of hit. He gets hit maybe behind the line of scrimmage. I had to line up real quick. Now, the pass and the catch was beautiful. It was a beautiful contested catch, but it was a very low percentage pass. So they didn't go for the 3. If that ball gets knocked away, Sirianni's going to get criticized for that call. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think there's a clock management issue. It sounds like from what they talked about on the radio was he just told Hurts to call play.
Right, but you got to be prepared in that situation. Why would you run the football with 16 seconds left and no timeouts? That's in the red zone. So that's what I didn't understand. Jim, you're still coming in a little blurry here and there. So
let me try moving around.
No problem. But I mean, you guys, the other guys, you want to just discuss, what you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to if there's one thing that this team needs, and obviously somebody else was talking about the punter too. But I think one thing they definitely need is that 1 yard running back, the LeGarrette Blount type guy, and that would have been very handy for that situation when they needed like a yard or 2 yards and nobody can get it. And I don't know what's going on in the second half. It's their offense keeps getting bogged down, but I still think that they still need another running back. I don't think Miles Sanders by himself and Gainwell, I don't think that's going to be enough when they go to the big games when every inch, every yard matters. I think that's going to be the Achilles heel towards the end for this team.
Yeah, there's just really nobody on the team right now that complements Sanders.
Mhm.
Like your Gainwell and Scott are just they're not good enough. Like Gainwell's more of like a gadget back that you want to use out of the backfield, but you can't rely on him to hand the ball off. And Sanders is the guy. Sanders is the guy. You need somebody that's big that can get you that 1 to 2
That-
yards. The
exactly.
Eagles, I don't think the Eagles see it the same way that we do because they think that Hurts is that guy. Hurts is the ones that can get like the short yardage and doing like the read option or a QB sneak. I think they see it as those are the short yardage plays that they want to run.
Could be, but still, I mean, it's the second half. I mean, they haven't scored any points in the fourth quarter in the last 3 games.
Yeah, that's a big
And-
point. Yeah.
And even the last game, and even the one at Monday night, I mean, they went up and down the field, but couldn't score anything in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So I don't know what's going on then.
Yeah, and it's weird too because I don't really see a difference in the play calling from the first half to the second half. So it's just kind of odd that we're not seeing the same type of
Production.
production.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way, but they had big leads in the first half of all those games. Jim, are you back with us?
Yeah, do you think they try to get Kareem Hunt again? Do you think they look into that?
Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would. Your team is today.
They're
the
loaded. You got to go for it.
NFL Network had the Eagles as the #1 team in the league. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a chance-
The number one and yeah.
if
Yeah.
you have a chance, to really make a push this year, why not get Hunt for just a year? I mean, just go for it. You need everybody knows you need that big back. Just go for it.
Sometimes it's so funny. You have to be lucky too. Remember off season, everybody was talking about Russell Wilson and he didn't want to come here. Oh my God. Thank God he didn't come here. He's cooked. That guy is done.
Yeah.
I have him on both my fantasy teams. He looks terrible.
$240 million flushing down the toilet. It's like
I think he's going to come around though. I really think he'll end up being really good for Denver, but that would have been awful. But on the flip side here, I think that Hurts has 1 more year left on his rookie contract. And if Roseman was smart, I think at some point he would try to negotiate that contract this year, like he did with other players that he knew that was going to be here for a long time, like Dallas Goedert, and maybe sign him before their last year.
He has to wait till after the season. So
I thought it was after October. I maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's this off season he's allowed to start negotiating.
Okay. I'm just afraid that if he becomes the player that we think he can be, how much he's going to demand. And you just hope that doesn't suck up the payroll of the Eagles.
Well,
That
it will.
$240 million. That's a going rate right now, right?
Yeah.
With 150 guaranteed. That's
Yeah.
what Kyler Murray got, right? That's the same thing in
And
the
Lamar Jackson is looking, upwards of that.
Yeah.
And then next year, I mean, that's what you're looking at. You got to just accept that it's going to take up a big portion of the salary cap. You just got to hope that he can stay healthy and he can keep progressing.
And hopefully he takes a team-friendly deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That's not
I
happening.
get the feeling that he will. I think that he will.
It seems like he's a team.
He does. He is a team
I mean,
guy.
they said from day one, one of the bigger problems of him and Wentz was Hurts was a leader from day one. He walked in
Yeah.
the first day and everyone rallied behind him. It's like, this guy's a leader, You're just born to be a leader, where Wentz was kind of the opposite, they say.
Who
You know
other
what?
than Tom Brady has taken a team-friendly deal, though, as a
Yeah.
quarterback?
He always has. He
Yeah,
always has.
But
Yeah.
no one else has. So
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right, Will.
even though we're
You're right.
discussing the Eagles, but I think going back to Wentz for a moment, there's something wrong with that guy. I mean,
Oh.
his process. No. Besides this,
Yeah.
reaction, his processing of what's going on is very slow. I mean, you can see he's going to get hit, right? And yet he's still holding onto the ball. And then, is it something mental? I mean, that concussion really affected him so much that he's not processing things well. It's sad. I mean, I felt bad for the guy. honest to
So
God.
did I. felt
Honest to
bad
God,
for
I'm
him
not
too.
making this up. I felt bad
Yeah.
for the guy because whatever happened to this guy, for whatever reason, he's not reacting well enough, and he's getting hit left and right. I mean, eventually, this guy's going to be on the wheelchair.
He got hit 17 times in that game. That is an amazing an amount of times. But you're right. Like he's not as he's not as elusive a quarterback as he was in 17. And I think that knee injury took a lot out of him. And I do think that concussion that he got from Clowney still might be affecting him. He is not the same player at all.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad for the guy, honest to God, even
Yeah.
though I don't like him, but for the pounding that he was getting is unbelievable.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of the pounding, let's talk about that defensive line and the pressure that they got. I'll start it off. My favorite player, Fletcher Cox, really played very, very well at 2 sacks. What do you have? 2 sacks, 2.5 sacks. Brandon Graham looks like he got even better after that Achilles injury. They were just bull rushing all day long, but you need those 2 guys. If those 2 guys can keep applying that kind of pressure, it's going to make it easy for the other guys in the D line.
And Graham only played, what, 27 plays? And he was all over the place. That's incredible.
Yeah, one thing that I was listening to the radio, and they were saying that hopefully they can maintain their stamina towards the end of the season, because these guys are old, and hopefully they stay the same way that they are right now towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
But how about Davis, man? He's coming around too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Well, when you're going against a quarterback that just won't throw the ball and he just wants to hold it for 20 seconds, I mean,
Well, yeah, that was part of it. Plus their
you
offensive
set
line was
records.
horrible. Plus they had a
Fletcher Cox
horrible
looks like he's
offensive line.
25
Yeah.
again.
No, I agree. But the defensive line really did a lot. I didn't see a lot of, scheme changes by Gannon. I just don't think he needed to do that much. He didn't do a lot of blitzing. And it always occurred to me when they blitz, I always noticed that the guy that they have blitzing is TJ Edwards.
Edward.
And I could never figure out why, but I finally did. He's not real good in coverage. He's a very good blitzer. He's a terrific player. I think he had 2 tackles and he had 2 hits on Hurts. On Wentz. I'm not sure if he had any sacks, but again, he was all over the field. He's so valuable, and he's a big reason why Nakobe Dean's not even getting on the field right now.
Yeah, apparently he only had 2, 3 plays overall. Nakobe Dean.
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing they have so much talent, and somebody who was supposed to be a first rounder sitting on the bench is not doing anything.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
And plus, they got Saints' first round pick, and Saints
And
they
they're
look
around.
like
Yeah.
That looks like it's going to be a really good pick.
Yeah, because they're not playing good right now. Yeah. So
So we got to keep rooting against the Saints.
Yeah, that's going to, and if you combine that with the fact that Hurts looks like he may be the guy, oh my God. I'm assuming at this point they're going to have to start looking to replace Lane Johnson's probably at the latter part of his career. They're going to need to replace him eventually. But it just, and let's bring this up since I'm speaking about the offensive line. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but last year when they were really putting it in gear with the running game, this year, it doesn't seem like the running game is as good as it was last year. I don't know if it's the offensive line that's not getting enough push. I don't know if it's the running backs, because I know they had Jordan Howard. That was the real, the bull guy that would get the ball in the backfield and run for hard north-south yardage. They don't have that type of guy now. But do you guys see that the running attack is really not as good as it was last year?
Well, one of the things that people were saying that the Washington Redskins game plan was to stop the run and see whether Hurts can beat them with his arm. So that's why maybe they didn't have enough opportunities to run, and there was opportunities to throw. So I don't know, but also that bull rush. I mean, having a big guy makes a big difference. Like Devontae Smith, right? They didn't have AJ Brown last year, and he was okay. Having a complementing runner makes a big difference because they don't know which way it's going to go. But right now they know it's going to be the Gainwell or it's going to be Miles Sanders, and they have their style of running. So you can plan for it. That's what I think.
I love having that big back who's going to get you that extra yard
Yeah.
on 4th and 1.
Yeah, I think defenses right now are putting a real emphasis in stopping the run
Mhm.
and stopping Hurts. So I
Yep.
think that's why you're seeing the Eagles pass so much and be so successful. I mean, Hurts is making the right throws, but I think that's the game plan right now for teams is they're trying to take away Hurts, gashing your defense and the rest of the run because they were so successful last year. So until defenses make adjustments, I mean, we might not see an as effective running game that we had last year.
Could
Yeah,
be. Yep.
Yeah, you guys are all right. The defensive game plan that Washington had was perfect for to go against Hurts. They were forcing him to beat him with his arm. They were not letting him run. And I don't even know how many yards he ran for, which is a good thing because you'd like to see other facets of his game. So personally, this is good. I think that Hurts really did do a lot of work in the offseason and worked on those things that really he was really, having a hard time doing, like reading through his progressions, going to his left, making throws to his left. And he's been doing more and more of what he was not able to do last year successfully. And that, to me, is why I think he's a much better quarterback.
Yeah, that's why everybody's talking about him being an MVP because you're right. I mean, I think the team's coming in, making him try to be a pocket passer and let him beat them that way, and he is doing it. So not all those 3 wins, they're not flukes, right? They were really legit wins, and that's why give people hope that this is for real.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Back to
Yeah.
Lane Johnson, I heard an incredible stat today. They were saying he hasn't allowed a sack since 2020, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. That's
I
2
saw
years.
that on ESPN today.
Yeah, isn't that
Yeah.
incredible? Yeah, that's where I saw it
is.
too.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
incredible. And we
Right.
got to give a lot of credit to the O-line. They're giving Hurts all day to sit back there and throw. So
Yeah.
a lot of credit to the O-line.
But you got to put an asterisk to it too. He was injured for a while too, so technically he
That is
wasn't
true.
playing
Yeah.
playing the 16 games per season.
Yeah.
But this team all around, I mean, besides special teams, I'd say is a really loaded roster and deep. They have a lot of depth. I can really see them going far right now as long as Jalen Hurts, keeps progressing and he's not turning the ball over. He's not putting the ball in any risk. I mean, he just needs to just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Good point.
NFC's wide open. No one really scares you out. No one really scares me in the NFC.
No, I agree right now. Here's a small detail. What do you guys think of Britton Covey?
He's an idiot.
I disagree. I disagree.
He's just not elusive. He's fast and he's got quick movements, but he's just not elusive. Like
It looks like
he's running into a brick wall every time. He can't get out of the way.
Well, he can't get out of the
Look,
way because he's got a
he's
wall
too
coming
fast.
at him.
I can see him on a stretcher being taken to the hospital.
Yeah, when you're a punt returner, you got to be able to make the first guy miss, and he just can't. It's like he gets train wrecked. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he's elusive enough. And I honestly, from what I'm seeing, I don't know how much longer the Eagles are even going to keep him on the 50.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
Like,
Well,
They
he's never
already-
been on the
they already
53.
put Smith in the game.
He's
he needs
never,
it.
but he's never been on the 53. He's been called up from the practice squad the first 3 weeks. They can't do it anymore. They have to make a decision on him.
Oh,
If they don't put him on the 53, I think they got to let him go, I believe.
now is he taking a roster spot from somebody?
No, not right now, because he was still in the 53, and I don't know when they have to decide that, but I know it's sometime this week.
Well,
And I'll-
Dillard's supposed to come back soon, though, right?
Who's this?
Andre Dillard.
Right.
He's on the injured
Yeah.
reserve, right?
Yeah.
Because he broke his
First-
hand or something, right?
4 weeks. I think it's the first 4
Yeah,
weeks.
There's no
probably.
way you're going to be able to have both those guys.
Yeah, but chances are they'll put Stills back on the practice squad. They're probably going to, do something with one of their linemen, but it's getting to Covey. I like him. They talked a lot on some of the other podcasts, especially the Eagle Eye podcast and Reuben Frank specifically, that they were doing this drill where he had a football in his hand. They would make the punt returners, believe had a football in their hand. When the punt was coming down to them, they had to throw the other ball up, catch it, and then catch the punt, and then run with it. And I know that Rager really struggled with it, but Britton Covey was so sure-handed when he did it. And I know he fumbled one last week, but there's something about him. I feel that as soon as he gets a chance to have the game slow down for him, that he will be a very good punt returner. And if you ever get a chance, you got to look at some of his highlights as a kick/punt returner when he played for I believe it was Utah. And he had a great punt return in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State that was sensational. And he did return one kickoff last week, but it went in the end zone. So I like him. I would like to see them keep him. And if they don't keep him and they got to bring up another receiver, they don't really need another receiver because they're using 4 right now. And the 4 that they got, I think they're fine with. So I don't know what you guys think about that as far as a wide receiver room.
Yeah, I mean, I think every one of them playing a big role. And as far as a punt returner, I don't know. If somebody else can do a better job than he's doing. I think if there's a weak link, I think it's the special teams for the Eagles. I mean, they haven't done anything. So I don't know how worse can it be from what they have right now. So maybe they can use the game. Well, no, maybe Gainwell can be a punt returner. Can he? Did they try him last year or the year before?
No, he's in his second year now. I think he may have returned a couple punts. I'm not sure. But right now, I just think that Covey is the best punt returner on this team. I think he just needs to get some yards, and he did have one decent return. I'll say that. And I think that he will, I just hope they hold on to him. I know we're talking about him for an extended amount of time, but I'd like to see them make a decision on him and hopefully hold on to him. Let me see. Will's saying something that he can't get on. Oh, his internet looks like it's locked up. All right, real quick, let's do a commercial, and then we'll be right back for the last part. But Will's saying that he may not be able to get back on. Is your kitchen or bathroom outdated or in serious need of repair? Since 1987, Kitchen World offers the latest in custom, semi-custom, and even stock cabinetry. Our designers offer the absolute best in custom design right down to the exquisite molding details. That's Kitchen World, with showrooms in Philadelphia, Bucks, and Montgomery County. Call Burton to set up an appointment at 267-228-9875 or check us out at kitchen-worldinc.com. All right, guys. Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-1. Give me some thoughts, guys.
I think
they're
goodbye.
going to lose. They're going to be tired. They had to fly. I'm really surprised that the NFL gave them this kind of a schedule. They're flying all the way to the West Coast. They come back, and they're going to fly all the way to the Northeast. They're high from their win. I think it's going to be a letdown game for them. And plus, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to win easy. And the line says 6.5. That gives you an indication that how the Vegas thinks about the game.
Yeah, we're talking about Jacksonville right now. Well, what do you think?
I think they're they look like a pretty good team. Doug Peterson is really getting a lot out of Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's making a good jump. And I mean, I wouldn't take them for granted. I know the spread is 7. I think Vahe, you would know.
6.5.
6.5. The numbers guy. The numbers guy. We're going to get to that next.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take them for granted. I mean, they're a much better team than they were. They showed last year because of that goofball coach. And they've had a lot of first-round picks over the last few years, and Doug's kind of putting it all together for them. And they're really – I'm actually more worried about this game than last. Not that we're going to lose. I'm not ever picking the Eagles to lose again. But
Yeah, you already jumped
Nah.
out.
While you're out, they had to fly all the way to California, right? And now they
Yeah.
have to fly back to Northeast. So I think it's going to be
That's
too
what I
much.
was thinking. Too. And that storm too was going to affect their practicing too, because they were talking about coming up to Philly or going somewhere else to practice Friday and Saturday or Thursday and Friday.
You're right. You're right. They're getting the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get parts of it, but
Oh
they're
my
not
God.
going to be able to stop, Jalen Hurts, though. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but
WP is going to get
those
he's going to
West
get a
Coast.
standing up.
I mean, I don't know how many have you been to the California, but coming back, and it's really tiring. That 6-hour
Oh,
flight, it's really takes
Yeah.
out of you like at least 2-3 days, until you got back. So, and then you had to fly back to Northeast, Philadelphia. I mean, it's gonna be too much on them.
And I'll say this too. They beat a very good Los Angeles Chargers team, but Herbert he was hurt. He had bruised ribs in that game, and you could tell that he just wasn't himself when he was throwing the football. But Jacksonville did have a very good defensive game plan on them, and they dominated with big plays. And that's one thing that Peterson majors in those things. With their two running backs, I think it's Etienne and Robinson, smaller backs, but they're quick and shifty. They can pull off the big play at any time. But Lawrence looks to me like he's a much more confident quarterback than last year, and he's taken a positive step forward. And then that rookie, the first round draft choice from Georgia, he's I can't think of his name, the linebacker. He's an absolute beast, and he makes that defense so much better.
it is worth noting, though, too, that Carson Wentz threw for 4 touchdowns against them. So I don't think we're going to have any trouble with our receivers.
Right, but Carson Wentz is Mr. Garbage Time, and I know he threw 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. He was very lucky with both of them.
I'm trying to give Hurts a compliment. How we?
No. I'm talking about Wentz now. Wentz, I wanted to say this about Wentz. I think that his game is tailored more towards, like, remember back in the 90s, Vahe, you maybe remember this more than anybody else, but remember Jim Kelly in Buffalo? They had that
Yes.
K-gun offense.
He
They
went to
never huddled.
He
and
went to the
was
Super
just-
Bowl 4 times and lost all 4 of them.
Right, but they were amazing those 4 years, and Kelly was sensational in that offensive scheme. And Wentz is that type of quarterback, and I just think that that's his only hope is to be. He's a true gunslinger, and I think he's a lot better when he's a garbage time guy. He should treat every part of his game like it's garbage time, and I think he'd be a better quarterback. But I didn't mean to go back to Wentz, but back to Jacksonville. Peterson is really loved down there right now, and they didn't win their first game last year until, I don't know, I think maybe the 15th week of the season last year, and that was a debacle with Urban Meyer down there last year with everything they got going on. But they're healthy, they're playing better, they seem to be much better coached. And they're going to be a lot of trouble for a lot of teams, and the jury's still out if that's going to happen on Sunday.
And the previous year, Jacksonville won their first game, and I think they lost the rest of it. They lost 50.
Oh, that's right. Wait a minute. You're right. They didn't win their second game until maybe the 15th or the 16th week. Because I remember Urban Meyer thought they won the Super Bowl when they won that.
That's
game.
when he got in all that trouble, right?
Yeah.
Never came. Was that when that happened?
No, they
Never
played.
came home when the team played.
Yeah.
That was after a loss.
They lost to Cleveland, I
Right.
think.
I
And
thought
then he
Doug
decided to
Peterson
stay.
Yeah.
them playing good.
He stayed behind and then
Stay
he went
behind
too
and
far.
went to that.
And he got a lap dance or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it was no. And the funny thing about that was when that happened and he was like suspended, I guess, for a week or whatever, the Jaguars would all get together and their motto was when they got together and they said 1, 2, 3, they would say grind, and then they would start laughing, you know, just appropriate for that team with that head coach. Any thoughts real quick before we go into predictions, because we got to go over, we didn't do last week's podcast, and we got to go over our predictions for the Vikings game as well as the Washington game, and then what we do this week. Any last minute thoughts, you guys, on anything else?
That Monday, that game against Dallas looking really, really good.
Yeah,
Because Dallas coming around too. So
Cooper Rush is pretty good quarterback.
yeah, I mean they're getting lucky with those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know? So
If
but
they
that's gonna
keep
be
winning with Cooper Rush, you think possibility there's a QB competition over there?
well, I read somewhere today Dak said he's gonna be
Yeah.
back next week. So
That's
we'll
what they
see.
said.
I think he wants to come back early now because he sees how well he's playing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. He's got all that money. So it's not going to be a matter of money. He's got his big contract. So, all right, real quick, let's go to our predictions for Jimmy won the first week. So Jimmy's got one up on all of us. The Vikings won that game 24-7. Now this is going to be interesting. These are our predictions. Will, I shouldn't even mention Will, and Will should wear a bag on his head for this prediction. He picked the Vikings 35-24. So you were 28 points light on the Vikings on the Vikings that game. So you're obviously out. Jimmy was 28-21. Vahe was 24-21. I was 31-17. Eagles won 24-7. What do you guys think?
You won.
You think I'm?
Yeah,
I won?
because
You won.
yeah,
Okay.
because the differential you have.
Yeah,
the
you
numbers
won
is
that.
differential. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All
He
right.
just wanted to hear you guys
Yep.
say you won.
No, I just wanted to see how smart. I wanted to see if you guys are really dumb. So
Yeah.
unless you all proved me wrong. Now the Washington game, they beat the Eagles beat them 24-8. Everybody had the Eagles winning. Vahe was 34-24. Will was 27-24. Jimmy was 28-21. I was 38-21. That one's tough because Washington didn't score nearly that many points.
Yeah, but since we don't have the numbers, then you have to take the differential, right?
Different-
So
Right.
you,
Let's
so
go to our
my
numbers, guy.
my
I just-
differential was 10. Your differential was how much? 17?
Oh, wait a minute.
What was your score?
I was 38-21.
That's 17.
Right.
Right.
So your
Right.
differential 17. My differential, I had 34-24. My differential was 10. What was the final score differential?
How do you figure 10? Your
I
differential
had
was,
to,
yeah, but you were 10 on the Eagles, but you
No.
were minus 16 on Washington. You picked
no,
30
no. That's not the way you take it.
Yeah.
Since none of us have the closest number, so what you say is that you have a score of 38-21, right?
Right.
So the difference in scores was 16 points,
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
right? And so you had 16, I had 10.
Got it.
Jimmy
Okay. So
had
Vahe
6.
won week 3.
No, you won. What was the
That's-
final score?
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. I was
24-8,
38-21.
right?
What's this?
24-8 is 16.
Right.
Right.
So 16, you had 16 or 17. What did you have? 17.
I can't, you're the numbers guy. I can't put it together.
So
real quick.
okay,
You
what
won.
was your
My
score?
score was 38-21. The score was 24-8.
Exactly. So your differential was 17 points.
Right.
The win differential for the Eagles was 16 points.
Right.
Mine was 10. So you're the closest to the differential for the winning because none of us has the numbers close anyway.
All right. So I won week 3.
Yes, you won week 2 and week 3. And
Right.
you were on
You won
vacation
2 in a
too,
row.
right?
That's
were in
why I
vac-
went. That's part of the reason why I went totally out of my way to make sure this podcast happened tonight. So.
Wow.
There you
That's
So
go.
right.
from now on, you should go down to the Outer Banks and pick the.
Right. The winner gets what? $500? Is that what we
Yes,
agreed upon at the
exactly.
very beginning? Okay, we can raise it to 1,000 if you want. All right, let's go with this week's games. And since I won last week, I'll start.
So right now, Jimmy's won.
And
you
I got 2.
and me and Will with
You and
nothing.
Will are 0.
We're zero. We're losers.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't
you're
pick the
losers.
Eagles to win yet.
All right. I know that we're all going to pick the Eagles. And I'd hate to say that
Wait a
this is,
minute, you're not, I mean, Will is like hedging his bet, he's saying that maybe they're for real.
I think he's still going to pick the Vikings. So,
The Vikings.
yeah, no, like he did 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
No, but now, we've talked about trap games before, and I was worried that the Washington game could be a trap game. This could be a trap game too. I know that everything is leaning towards the Eagles blowing them out, and maybe they'll take it east. I don't know. I want to say one thing before I give my score. The Eagles have virtually done nothing offensively in the second half of the last 3 games. Is it possible that that gets them up for the beginning of the week, of the following week, and make them play better? I know it sounds like it's silly, but I'm going to go by that premise. I think the Eagles are going to win. I'm going to say 42-10.
Damn,
Jimmy?
damn. I'm gonna say Eagles win 27-17.
Okay.
Damn it, Jimmy! I was going to say the same exact thing.
Yo,
Pick
Will, you and I
26-17.
alike, right?
I'm going to go. I'll go 28-17.
It was that 1 point differential. Vahe will have to figure that out if it's that close. And Vahe,
I'll go 34-10.
34-10. Okay. All
So
right.
it sounds like everybody's back on Jonathan Gannon, right? Everybody loves him now.
I don't
I
know.
think-
Washington could have scored a couple touchdowns that they didn't get in the second half, so it could have been a little bit closer. But right
no,
now you have to
still
give 'em
think-
credit.
I mean, I think this is going to be a trap game for Jacksonville. I think that they're high on that beating, the Charger on the West Coast. I think that's going to be really an emotional letdown against the Eagles, because the Eagles, they don't represent anything to them. They're not in the same conference.
Right.
They're not in the same, group. So I don't know why they want to get high for it, unless it's for Doug. But other than that,
Yeah, that'll be a big game.
That's what
it's
worries
another
me. I think-
reunion.
I
They
think
have two.
That's
Two.
what
Go ahead,
worries
Jim.
me.
Sorry,
I
Jim.
think they, they're going to play for their coach. It seems like they really respect Doug. I think they're going to want to play for their coach. So I think that's going to make it a little, a close
Well,
game in my opinion.
If
But I think-
anybody, if any coach in the league probably knows Jalen Hurts' weaknesses more, it's probably Doug Peterson.
Exactly.
But he only saw him when he was a rookie, and he's not anywhere. He wasn't anywhere near as improved as he is right now.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, but he's definitely going to test him and see if he's improved everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
keep him in the
agree, Will.
pocket. Keep him in the pocket. Let him try to beat you with his arm. That's what probably they try to do him too.
Yeah, and real quick before we get off, let's talk about the defensive backs. We haven't talked much about them. Do you guys think that maybe the pass rush was so good because
100%. Yeah,
the deep backs
Because of
just
that.
covered it? Even that guy
100%. I agree.
Chauncey Gardner Johnson, he's really good in coverage. That
It's
guy.
working the other way. They're making the line that much better. I
Yeah.
agree.
Bradbury's got great ball skills to me. Like I know he's not the best tackler in the world, but boy, he is a very good one-on-one defender. I really do like him.
Yeah, I mean, that's what really surprised me this offseason. I mean, the Tennessee ended up giving up A.J. Brown, right? What they're thinking. I mean, they're like 0-3. I mean, same thing with Giants and same thing with the Saints. I mean, seriously, how can you give up on young people that they go somewhere else and suddenly become stars, and yet you don't see the potential on your own team?
Yeah.
Now,
Wasn't
somebody
they
can say,
great?
well, how about Rigger? I don't know whether Rigger's doing well or not, but
Nah, he's a punt returner.
Did he have any punts last week that we know? of?
I don't know, but I know he ran that jet sweep when they went for it on 4th down and they got it when they played the Eagles a couple weeks ago and they were booing him and everything. So I'll bet that Rieger hardly ever sees the field. So, but is it worth it? What was it? A 5th round draft choice? Was it worth
yeah.
it? Probably
I think it's
worth
4th
it.
goes to 5th, or the 5th goes to 6th,
Yeah,
or something like
that was
that.
a really good trade by Howie, but he worked
Yeah.
that in there. It's like it was a 5th, but it could turn into a 4th. But
Yeah.
God bless him.
Now, here's
What-
another. I'll give you. Let me bring up this point too. the two linebackers right now, the two main linebackers are Kaiser White and TJ Edwards. Edwards is in the last year of his contract. Kaiser White has a 1-year contract. They potentially could lose both of these guys next year. My thinking is that one of them may not be here. And that's where Nakobe Dean comes in. I don't know what you guys think about that.
No,
I think Edwards is going to be the one out. I think they're going to try to re-sign Kaiser White because Nakobe Dean fits in perfectly where Edwards is. I think that's going to be the spot for him.
I feel like this is a learning year for him, obviously, in his rookie year. And as the season progresses, maybe he'll take on a bigger role and set everything up going into the next year for him. That's what I hope, because I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, me too. But TJ Edwards is the heart and soul of this defense right now. I don't see him going anywhere.
We
And
got
I
to
see-
remember too, we're not going to be able to pay everybody too with, once we start paying Hurts.
Yeah, that's true. But then again, having a guy like Nakobe Dean on your team gives the defensive coordinator the possibility of employing more of a 3-4 defense, which they may eventually go with. And think about this, when they got Davis and Dean, that almost screams to you that when they get more experience, that a 3-4 could be in their future. So, they may need the two guys they got now plus Nakobe Dean down the road. That's my thought. Any last minute thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yep, I'm looking forward to the Dallas game. It's going to be 5-0 going into that game.
That's a Sunday night too, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Avahe, if they get beat Sunday, you're coming on here with a bag on your head because you just predicted that they're going to be 5-0 for Dallas. So
Oh, absolutely. Because they're going to win this week. They're going to go Arizona. They're going to beat Arizona in Arizona too. They're going to come back home.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be high,
if the Eagles lose this game, I'm going to play back what you just said at the beginning of the broadcast.
They're not losing this game.
So,
No way,
okay.
no how.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap this up. Another one in the books. Thanks so much for listening. All 2 subscribers to our program. Flying High with the Birds, Philadelphia Eagles Talk. See ya.
See you guys.